So I'm tired. Hey guys, so I'm going to make 3 meals all at once. I do this probably once every 2 weeks or something. Fully
cooked!
My fridge will get full up of stuff that I want to use up, so I decide to just make stuff. We are going to make for dinner some hameen. So we have the beef and stuff for that. But for lunch, we're going to have meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and stuffing. And for breakfast, we're going to have eggs, cottage cheese, and Israeli salad. So I'm going to make probably the dinner first, and then the lunch, and then I'll cook the breakfast. I have a list of things because, and I wrote this list, I only have 1 onion. So I wrote this to make sure that I remember that I need onions for 4 different things. So here we go. I already have some frozen chickpeas in here. They're already cooked, but frozen. I've already cut up some celery, 2 stalks of celery. This is going to be for the stuffing for lunch. This is going to go in the hameen, so I'm going to cut it pretty big. I have some sage. Now, this sage I need to cut as well. That's why I put it over here. But somebody told me, because I couldn't find dried sage, they said, look in the fresh. This is fresh sage. And it smells like sage. So I'm going to put this celery in here to cook. I want the beef to be on the bottom though. So Hadar went to the store today and he got the beef. And he just unwrapped it. They always put stickers on the beef, like directly on the beef. So it sticks to the visceral. So I put this in. It's gonna go near the bottom there. Okay, it's frozen, by the way. Okay, so I have some potatoes that I've taken the eyes and the green parts off of them. These are the small potatoes, and I saved the bigger potatoes for the mashed potatoes that we're going to have later. So I'm just going to spread this around in the crock pot. Usually you put some whole eggs in hameen, and you know, with the shell and everything, but I can't do that. I can't let myself do that. So I'm not going to do that. I wanted to put some okra in it, but I think it's going to be a little too slimy. So I'm going to save the okra for something else. What I have here is my seasoning mix, and it has like oregano, basil, smoked paprika, a regular paprika, turmeric. It's just got all it's like everything. There's even red chili flakes in it. So I'm going to pour it on top. Pretty liberally. I'm gonna put some water in this as well. Very flavorful. And I'm gonna put some salt and cut up a lot of garlic. I have seen people put like, just take this thing, unwrap it, and stick it in there, but I'm gonna actually slice it up. So it's big slices, not little chops. I need it for another recipe as well, so I'm going to cut up more than what I need. I'll probably cut up this whole thing of garlic plus another half for what I'm doing today. I could get away with like 2 big things of garlic in this because it's a pretty big pot. As you can tell, this is extremely fun. Very fun. Probably need about that much for my other recipe. So I'm going to cut the rest of this up into slices. To put in the crock pot. already put all of the other garlic in. I'll sprinkle this on top. Should I put carrots in it?
You don't have to.
Do I usually?
No.
No? Alright.
It just gives more flavor.
Do you want carrots in it? Because I have some room.
Do you have carrots?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to cut up some carrots as well. Put some water in it. Get some carrots, probably like 6 carrots? 5 or 6 carrots? What do you think?
If you can fit it, sure.
Yeah. Okay, I really never peel anything because the skin's good for you. And plus I like the way it tastes. Anyway, so I just take both of the ends off of it. And then I cut it into big chunks. When it gets skinny, they get longer. Like that. That's how I like to have it. And that's how my mom used to cook it. Not hameen, but beef stew and things like that. Which is, it's similar, but different. So we didn't put any spices in it. And I am like a traditionalist, I guess. And I don't, like if I were making this for myself, I wouldn't put spices in it. I would just put salt and pepper and that's it. So I think I'm going to have room for all of these. So go ahead and do that. Okay. It's going to be nice and soft when it comes out of here, so it's okay. I want to put some onion in it, but I don't know if I'm really going to have enough onion for everything I want to do.
Doesn't really need it.
No? Okay. We'll use that for the other stuff then. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Should I put it on low?
High.
High. Alright, so we have dinner is served. Now I don't have to touch dinner. Done with dinner. I've been cleaning as I go, by the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and make breakfast because lunch I want to actually make a separate meal or a separate video out of how I make meatloaf. So I'm going to go ahead and make breakfast, which is going to be just cottage cheese, Israeli salad, and eggs with onions. Probably use about that much for the eggs and the salad. So I put onions in my Israeli salad. I only have like 3 ingredients in the Israeli salad, but you can go really elaborate with it if you want.
Parsley, pine nuts,
yeah.
and cranberries.
Yeah, and I don't do that because once again, all they're gonna hear is you eating that carrot, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
What's up?
So I'm gonna cut them the same way for the salad as I would for the eggs. Everybody has their own onion cutting technique, and people get really defensive over their onion cutting technique. Just cut it. Kadar likes every onion cut very small, so I try to cut it small for him.
I do?
Yeah. If you tell me at one time, it's going to stay like that forever until you tell me again. So, yes, at one time in your life, you told me you like your onions cut small. You don't like eating big chunks of onion. He used to rave about some kind of vegetable cutter that they had at work that cut all these Israeli salad ingredients, and they diced them up really, really small and on a diagonal, and that was like 5 years ago or something, but I just remember like, what's wrong with my salad? I work hard on it. Anyway, so I get a bowl. 2 bowls. Okie dokie. I'm going to get my frying pan and put like that many onions in it and start cooking it. And then these onions will be for my salad. We have been buying the kids the baby-sized tomatoes and cucumbers. So it's not like the best thing to use for the salad, but it's easy. I usually like to take like twice as many tomatoes as I do cucumbers, so I think about that. That's probably the size of 1 cucumber, real cucumber. And then the salad I make is usually 1 cucumber and 2 tomatoes. But since they're babies, you know, you have to figure out that size. Okay, for these I just cut the ends off, because ew. You know what, some people leave the ends on for the salad and then you find an end, you're like, ugh. I do anyway. I'm weird. But I'll show you how I learned to cut. Like you cut one and then you cut another like a cross. Like a literal cross or a T or an X. And then you slant your knife and cut like that. Now with a big cucumber, it makes a bigger difference. And look how pretty. They're all different shapes.
Did you see how you flail that into the bowl?
Yeah, it's pretty skillful. Well, with the smaller cucumbers, it's like, you're not going to notice a big difference. Some people dice up their cucumbers, and you can do that as well just by cutting it straight down, but I think it looks pretty when you go sideways like that. And then again, some people like, they will shave one little bit and then they'll turn it and leave the skin and then shave another little bit, and it leaves stripes on the cucumbers, and that's cute. But I like cucumber skins. It has like a bitter taste to it though, so if you want to skin your cucumbers, like, feel free to do that. But it takes a lot of time. Alright, so I'm going to cut my tomatoes, and I cut them exactly the same way. These are baby tomatoes, so. Some people take the seeds out of it, and I do recommend that if you don't like a watery salad. However, have you ever seen me do something like that? And you won't. A lot of things that I just suggested here are things that Hadar does, but things that I feel are a waste of time, and I don't have time for that. Like taking the tomato seeds out, he probably would do that, but I don't do that. I do like to make him happy and cook him good food, but I also, you know, want to spend time doing something else besides cooking because I hate it. But it's a necessity of life, so I just do it and get it done, right? Yeah, my onions are burning too, so I have to get these eggs in there pretty quick. Alright, so I'm going to start to cook my eggs, and for my family, it's pretty much a whole package of eggs, a little less. But I put the eggs in, And instead of, like, you can use water, but to make it really, really creamy, and plus it's keto friendly, I put cream in it instead of water, and I just put like a big dollop of cream for all of these eggs. It makes it really tasty. My onions did get a little burnt, but that's okay, because that's real life and that's what really happens to most of my onions most of the time, yes? I can't sit here and just watch onions, so that's usually what happens. Let's see, 6. About 8 eggs for my family. And a big dollop of cream. Big dollop. And to make my eggs, I mush every single yolk. And then I beat it. And then I stretch it out because I don't like strings or white pieces. It doesn't take too long. I forgot to mention when I was making the hameen that the smell it leaves in the house is amazing. And you can smell it down the street too. So it does make me jealous every time I smell somebody else's hameen on a Friday for Shabbat. It smells very good. Now if I were to make this for the kids, I'm trying to get rid of my coconut oil. So I would put coconut oil in the skillet. However, I'm going to use regular oil because it doesn't leave a taste. They do make coconut oil that doesn't have a taste, but I don't have any right now.
Kids are watching the video about you talking about Israeli salads.
Really? That's, what do you call it? Synchronicity? So...
I'm pretty sure he just heard what you said and he looked it up.
Alright, I poured it. You can see my onions are burnt. Burnt around here means taste and flavor. So I'll put some salt on it. I don't think my family's ever eaten onions in eggs without it being burnt. Here's some salt. Okay. And this is a really quick breakfast. And I have the heat on, it's like low medium. And all I do is push it around. Now sometimes I'll put, it depends on what I have and what I'm trying to get rid of. Sometimes I have bell peppers in here, and then I'll put cheese and make it like cheesy bell pepper and onions. It's really good. Or sometimes I'll have mushrooms with cheese. Just depends on what I have, what I feel like my family eating. But I used all the mushrooms the other day for gravy.
Did we get cheese in that?
Yeah, of course. So this is a really quick breakfast. And what I'm going to have with it is just the salad, which I've already done. And I'm going to put a dollop of cottage cheese next to it. So it's like a complete breakfast for the family. That's like a big breakfast here. I forgot to mention, and when I say here, I mean in our house, not in Israel. I've only had Israeli breakfast maybe twice out of the home. I had, no, 3 times. I had one at a cafe, one at like a shakshuka place, which is really good, and one at a hotel, which I wouldn't mind having again. That was pretty awesome.
Let me go find a hotel in this desert.
Yeah. So the eggs are almost done. What I do is just let it cook, stir, let it cook, stir. And you kind of have to stay here or else it's going to get like brown, and brown eggs. To my family, brown eggs are unacceptable. The black onions are fine, but the brown eggs are unacceptable. So I do like to make it soft for them. Raphael has a hard time with that, and so does Raphael. And
Raphael.
didn't I say Abigail? Abigail? Yeah, Abigail. Raphael and Abigail have a hard time with that. Yeah. When it is just a little bit, I'm going to be gross here. When it's a little bit slimy, I get the plates ready to plate up. Give it one more stir, and I've already turned it off, so no, I didn't. There. Turn it off and give it one more stir. I will not eat my eggs like this. My eggs have to be completely cooked, but you can see they pretty much are. They're wiggling like that. That's when you know they're done. Oh, I need to put some cheese on it too. Oh, we don't have any, we have sliced cheese.
28% fat.
Oh.
Not 30.
Do you want one or two?
One.
I'll give them one slice cut in half. Put it over their eggs. You know, they won't eat stuff when it's hot. Nobody eats my food when it's hot. Why?
You're the only one who can eat hot food.
Is it?
Temperature hot.
Yeah. I can't, well.
You can't drink hot drinks.
I can't drink hot drinks.
I do that.
Yeah.
Unacceptably hot. I'll
But,
drink it.
I eat my food very, very hot. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. That'll be for Raphael. Okay. Alright, so breakfast is pretty much done. Just have to scoop out the other stuff. So this is a very quick breakfast. Do you like my tiny kitchen? It works just fine. I had an even bigger kitchen before, but it wasn't laid out well. So it was really hard to cook in it, and I got so frustrated. I didn't even cook at that time. I was a raw vegan. What I was doing was like cutting food up all the time, and I just didn't have room to do anything. So I would get so frustrated in that kitchen because it wasn't set up well. This kitchen is tiny, but it's set up really well, in my opinion. Everything's here. I don't have to walk for a mile to go down there to get something like I did with our other house, even though it was a really nice house. It wasn't as efficient as this house is for that, so. And my kids love salad. I loved salad when I was a kid too. But these kids actually ask for salad over other things. So, I guess that's good. We started them out young on salad. So they just love it. Raphael just ate his first sushi the other day that I made from scratch. And he loved it, which was really crazy to me. Because I grew up in a family that didn't eat fish. All we ate was tuna. I had never even had salmon until I came to Israel. So, crazy. When I had salmon, I was like, wow, this is good. We did have, we would go fishing and what we caught, we would eat. So we would eat bass, and bass is not like fish. I don't know what it is like, but it's so good. If you don't like fish, you'll like bass. It's just good. So everybody's gonna get a big dollop of this, and this is our big breakfast. And this used to be the biggest size of cottage that you could get in Israel. And since, I don't know, a couple of years ago, they made like one that's twice the size, or maybe even
It's actually called a cottage and a half.
a cottage and a half. Okay. It's nice.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
You want to eat?
Cottage.
What else do you want to eat? Eggs?
This.
Eat this.
Go ahead and get in Abigail's seat.
Then
Because we don't waste. I hate wasting food.
can I sit on your lap?
Well, I'm not sitting there. Do you love this breakfast?
Yeah. Yeah. This is our first food this morning. Actually, afternoon, because I'm so hungry right now.
Okay, so I had time to clean up a little bit. The kids ate. And now I am going to, off on a different video, make the meatloaf for our lunch meal. So you will see that in a different recipe video. But just know I'm going to make meatloaf. And I'm going to make mashed potatoes. And I'm going to make stuffing. So I was told that I could get sage in the produce department. Isn't this cool looking? And it smells like sage. I don't know how much to use because I'm used to using dried sage. But I'm going to make stuffing, and I'm just going to prepare it right now. I have a skillet that I have cooked hamburger and bacon in. So it's got a little fat and drippings in it. So I'm just putting the celery that I cut up. I have two very skinny stalks of celery right there. And I'm going to cut up some onion and fry it in butter. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut up the entire onion because I'm going to use the rest for the meatloaf. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take maybe a little more onions than celery. I'm going to get my butter and put a pretty good size dollop of butter because this is going to be my flavoring for this. And we're making stuffing right now. Actually, we're just preparing it to make for later. I'm not actually making it right now. I'm just going to cook the onions and the celery and get it brown. It's not even warm yet. I'm just going to leave this alone and let it cook. Stir it a couple of times and then pour it into my pot. So I have this I have to cut up. I have these, they're seasoned breadcrumbs. Using all that up. I'm going to go ahead and pour some salt in it right now and season it. And that's done. I'll put that in. Now I'm going to cut the sage for it. How I cut the sage is I stack all the leaves together and then I roll it. And I'm going to cut it in half this way. I'm going to flip it, make like a T cut, X cut, whatever, cross cut. This is how I cut little leafy things. And then I'm going to this. This is extremely fragrant. Wow. I don't know how much fresh to use. I know how much dried to use, but I forget if I have to use more fresh or less fresh than dried. So I think this is a good number to start out with for the size pot of stuffing that I have. A lot of people don't like sage, and if you don't like it, just leave it out. Or you can try cornbread stuffing. That's good too. I don't want any of this in my meatloaf. I like sage in stuffing, but I don't know how I would like it in meatloaf. Okay, that is ready. I'm going to put, I have chicken, it's like a chicken soup mix. That's all that we have here. We don't have chicken broth unless you make it yourself with chicken bones and skin and whatnot. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of this in. And when this is cooked, I'm going to pour it in here. And then when I'm ready to cook it for lunch, I'm going to put hot water in it and boil it on the stove really quick, just until the breadcrumbs are soft, and then it'll be done. Now on to my mashed potatoes, and I have cut off all the bad parts on them, and I'm just gonna cut them in like 1 inch to ½ inch pieces. Put it in a pan, put it in water, and leave it over here and wait until lunchtime to cook it. So the order of cooking would be meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and then stuffing. So I could be mashing the potatoes while the stuffing is cooked, and then it'll all get done at one time, because I only have one hot plate. That's what my kitchen has, a hot plate and a toaster oven. So I actually lived that way for a very long time in the States, and it wasn't out of necessity because I could have bought a stove. I just didn't want to because I didn't need to. It was only me and my son at the time. We just didn't need that much. A toaster oven was just fine, and it didn't heat up the house, and it saved electricity. It didn't waste space. So we were just fine with it. And then when I moved to Israel, I did it out of necessity because we didn't have a lot of money when I first moved here. We still don't, but that's not the reason why we did it this time. When I first moved here, we didn't really have much money, so we just got a hot plate and a toaster oven, and it was fine. We used that for how many years? 5 or 6 years. And then we moved to a really nice apartment, a brand new apartment. We were the first people to ever live in that apartment, brand new. And we decided to spend some money, get the built-in oven because it had a place for a built-in. And we got that one used from our neighbor. We could see their house from our house. He sold it on a secondhand website here. So we got that, and then we got a secondhand induction oven, which was my favorite, not oven, but stovetop. And it was my favorite because the whole thing was a hot surface. Like you can make it 1 burner or 4 burners or 2 burners and configure it how you needed it. Okay, so my battery died. I don't know where I left off, but anyway, the stovetop, you can make 1 burner, 2 burner, 4 burner, and the whole thing was a burner. It was really nice. It was child safe. You can't burn yourself on it because it only uses metal to heat up with, so it was really nice. But then we went to this configuration that we have now because we have a tiny kitchen, and the electric would not support either one of the big appliances. It doesn't even support our computers right now, really. We're like, should we turn the dryer on? Because it might turn the electric off. So right now we just have a very small toaster oven, but it cooks whatever I need it to, and a hot plate, which is, it's a flat top hot plate, so it's pretty nice. It's not one of the older ones. I like it. It works for us. I can make it work. I just have to figure out like which thing needs to be cooked the longest. Figure that out if I'm making stuff all together. So I have potatoes here for mashed potatoes, and I'm just going to pour water in it so it doesn't get brown. I'm just going to leave it until I actually am cooking lunch. And this is cooking nicely. It is almost done. I just want it to get brown, a little translucent. I need it to be cooked though, because I'm not really going to cook the stuffing very long once I put the boiling water in it. It's just gonna soak the stuff up and be done. So it's gonna take less than 5 minutes really. So this actually needs to be fairly soft and browned and good tasting. And I'm going to take these meat drippings that I have here, all the butter, and I'm just going to pour it all into the pan for the stuffing. When I checked on this, my husband's like, hey, forgot the beans. We're probably going to put the beans in here, let that cook with it. Also, I put some turmeric. He suggested some turmeric to give it more color. And I put a little bit more seasoning in it because it was just looking too clear. Filled it almost all the way up with water. My lid doesn't fit too well, so what I usually do is put a towel over this to keep the heat in, not let the water out. Right now my stuff is done for my stuffing, so I'm going to pour that in. This is what that looks like. Yummy! Nice flavor. Pour it right over that sage. Let it cook a little bit. Didn't want to cook it with the onions because I didn't want to burn it. I'm not familiar with like undried seasonings like that. Herbs and stuff. I'm not familiar with that. Hopefully one day I'll have a herb garden in my kitchen, but for now it's just not a possibility. Although I've always wanted one. I would definitely have a stevia plant. Except my cat loves to eat the stevia. She loves it. I don't know what is up with that. She doesn't like anything else. She does love plants though. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit for a while. And I have this ready to go. So now on to my meatloaf. Meet me over there for the other recipe video. And then come back and see all of this spread all cooked. So I'm tired. Hi guys, so now we're going to make some meatloaf for our lunch. But right now it is ready to go and all of my other food is ready to go for when I cook lunch. I had to put a can of canned beans in here because we didn't have any dry beans. Okay, so that'll all cook together, be just fine, you'll never know.
How does it smell?
Really good.
How
We
does
walked
it look?
in and we were like, oh, that look good. It looks really good. My husband just asked me, I said, film me for 2 seconds. He said, I thought you were cooking lunch. I said, I am. He said, why 2 seconds? Because I already prepped it. Isn't that great? Okay, so here's the big reveal. I cook it until I can smell it. And it's at 200 Fahrenheit or 200 Celsius or 400 Fahrenheit. And I put this on high and let it boil. And that's my lunch. Until this is done. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to put boiling water in here. And my husband thinks that I'm talking to him, so he's telling me to speak up. So I'm going to put boiling water in here and put it on the... Actually, you know what? I should take the water from here and put it into here, because this is already flavored with some taters. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I have this over this, my stuffing. I'm going to pour this into here. I lost my cameraman. I'm not going to put too much in. See how that is. Yeah, maybe just a little bit more, just so it can soak in all that goodness. Oh my goodness, this is so good. So I have the stuffing and it's cooking and soaking and it's pretty much done. So I'm going to turn it off. This is done. It's almost gonna beep, but it's done. It's good. And now I have my taters. I went ahead and drained off the rest, put a little butter in it, and I'm gonna put some milk in it. Usually I would put evaporated milk in the States. Don't have that here. It's either milk or cream, and I think milk tastes better than cream with potatoes. And I don't have a masher. And I don't have a stick blender, so I'm going to do this to every single one of them and mash it.
Would you like me to do it?
Yeah, because I'll break my if you can see, I'm going to break my finger doing it. I got the stuffing. It is really smelling good and looking good. We're gonna plate it up as soon as he's done. Alright, that's looking like some Yukon gold right there. Her too.
Meatloaf.
She's a muncher,
Yeah.
not a
Okay.
barbarian.
Alright, this is hers.
Yeah. Now, can I have the bigger plate?
You have a big plate.
Alright. Yeah.
Abigail, it's hot. Has to cool down.
That means I'm getting most of the stuffing. But I can blow away. But what's its food
You
name?
can blow up. This is called stuffing. Okay, that's for Raphael. That's for Abigail. Sit down.
Meatloaf.
And hold that. Not the most prettiest thing ever, but surely tasty. And I did forget to put some ketchup on it, but that's okay. You can still put ketchup on it if you want.
Yeah, I want ketchup.
It's hot, Abigail. It's very hot.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out our other videos and our other channels where we daily vlog every single day on Fully Living. Leave us a comment to let us know you were here. Have a great day.